back again to TCW Podcast.
Yes.
We will talk about contemporary things right here, right now. For this episode, we will be tackling all about market integration.
We will be joined by our guest, Ashley, a college student
Meme machine. Without memes, I will die.
at TAGUIG City University. Also, Professor Carl,
Give me the memes. I need the memes.
a business lecturer at UP Human. And of course, James,
Meme machine. Meme machine. I'm a
an online personality that makes contents about business advices.
Wala mo ba yung order ko? Ay, start na pala. First of all, tell us something you know about market integration, Ashley.
Well, I know some terminologies like international financial institutions or IFIs and global corporation. Starting with IFIs, it is a financial institution established by different countries working together and hence subject to international law. Owners and shareholders or IFIs are generally national governments as well as other international institutions and organizations. Then, there's the global corporation. This is a company that operates in a country aside from its country of origin, or to put simply, operates around the world. Thus, the term global.
Well, you got some knowledge about the subject. Gladly, we are joined by Professor Carl and Mr. James to improve your understanding of market integration as well as to our listeners.
Oh, well, yes. Thank you for having us here. Right? Well,
Yes. Well, what do you want to know more about market integration, Ashley?
I want to know a lot of things, bro, but let me ask first, what does that quote when the American economy sneezes, the rest of the world catches cold mean?
Well, it simply means that the world economies are being brought closer together by globalization. Not just the economy of USA, but also economies of other first world countries. Affect the rest of the world. Let's say the USA is having an economic crisis, and as a powerful country, their crisis will affect the rest of the world as well. Because the more powerful the economy, the greater the effect of the crisis on the rest of the world. On the other hand, if the economy of a country is weaker, then it will not do much damage to the global economy when it fails to have a crisis.
well, Prof, I just want to add, no? To understand market integration more, I suggest we go to the topic of economic development during the World War II and also after it. Prior to the World War II, economic globalization can be experienced all around the world. But it collapsed when World War II started and also when the Great Depression was prompted, right, Prof? These events affected major economies negatively, damaging economies and people's trust, just like when the Great Depression happened because of the stock market crash in the USA, right, Prof? Just like what Prof. MG said, a powerful economy's problem will most likely become other economies' problem as well because, of course, of economic globalization.
If my research was right, Mr. James, those events in the 1930s caused the movements of many countries like the fascist Italy and Germany to become autarky, or in other words, a turn inward in order to create as much economic self-sufficiency as possible.
Yes, that's right. Good research, right, Prof?
Yes, that's actually right.
Well, I would also want to add that this turn inward was anathema to globalization. Or in other words, viewed badly because globalization requires entities like nation states to be outward looking rather than inward looking, which also means that globalization requires every country to participate and be interdependent with each other, right?
That's right. And also this lack of cooperation between countries worsened the Great Depression. Instead of helping each other, they are trying to outsmart each other, and the other countries are trying to surpass other countries in the global trade and sometimes isolate themselves through high tariffs, import restrictions, and devaluation of currency to gain advantage against other countries via the exchange rate wars.
To stop all of those chaos to happen, Bretton Woods system was created. It is a set of unified rules and policies that provided the framework necessary to create fixed international currency exchange rates. The 5 key elements of the Bretton Woods system as follows. First, each participating state should establish a par value for its currency, expressed in terms of gold or equivalently in terms of the gold value of the US dollar. Second, the central monetary authority in each country, like a central bank, could agree to exchange its own currency for those of those countries at the established exchange rates plus or minus a 1% margin. Third, the International Monetary Fund or IMF was created to establish, stabilize, and oversee exchange rates. Fourth, the member states will agree to eliminate all restrictions on the use of its currency for international trade. And fifth, the system was based on the US dollar because at the end of the World War II, USA had the 3/4 of the world's gold supply and accounted 1/5 of the world exports.
And to add to the discussion, the Bretton Woods system led to the formation of the GAAP or General Agreement on Tariff and Trade. And it was a system for the liberalization or removal and loosening of the restrictions on economic and political system of trade. It operated from 1947 to 1995 until it was replaced by what? Do you know what actually?
Yes, it was replaced by World Trade Organization or WTO, headquartered in Geneva, Switzerland. As of 2016, it currently has 164 member countries. Its main function is to focus on trade concerns like tariff barriers and restrictions on trade and services. Indeed, the WTO plays a big role in the economic globalization.
Yes, exactly. Very good. Since we're in the discussion of organization, let me elaborate more about International Monetary Fund. It has 190 member countries, which has a goal of macroeconomic stability for member nations and the global economy. The IMF deals with exchange rates, balance of payments, international capital flows, and monitoring of member states and their policies. The supporters of IMF see it as a key tool to the further development of economy.
Then let me discuss about the World Bank, or officially the International Bank for Reconstruction and Development, or IBRD. Based on my research, it is also a product of Bretton Woods system in 1944 that took effect in 1946 and currently has 189 member countries.
And in addition to that, the missions of the World Bank are regarding development of productive facilities and resources in less developed countries, funding for productive purposes, regarding international investment to promote international trade and development, as well as the equilibrium in balance of payments, and helping member countries improve productivity, standard of living, and labor conditions.
Trivia! The Philippines is a member of the IMF, the WTO, and the World Bank.
Paano po? Yun! Finally, nandito na rin yung order ko kung kailan patapos na yung episode. Akin na, akin na. Dumating na rin.
Yes po, pasensya na po at natagalan. Busy po kasi akong makinig sa live niyo habang nasa biyahe.
I need the memes. I smell the memes.
Anyways, I just want to add some things to the discussion.
Go on.
First of all, even though the systems of Bretton Woods was proved to be a success, it became outmoded over time as they never changed for a very long time, including the mentioned institutions. It can also be observed on the loan trends of the World Bank that the middle countries benefit from it more than the poor countries. For example, China. China loaned $710 million in early 2008 to help rebuild areas hit by the 2008 earthquake, larger compared to the needy countries. In fact, out of the $23 billion amount of loan in 2006, $13 billion went to the middle-income countries. Another issue raised was the leadership of these organizations. For instance, the USA is not contributing as much money as it used to compared to other nations.
Is that so? Well, he was actually right. As far as I remember, Joseph E. Stiglitz, one of the critics of the Bretton Woods system, defined globalization as the removal of barriers to free trade and the closer integration of national economies. For him, globalization is a positive force that will enrich everyone, especially the poor. But also, according to him, this is not the case in reality, as globalization is being handled by the powerful, which makes the gap between the global rich and the global poor grow even larger.
Wow, I didn't expect that.
Well, that's the reality. However, I just want to mention other important economic organizations as well. First, the Organization for Economic Cooperation and Development, or OECD. It is a group of 30 developed nations or club of world's richest countries. It is highly influential. Second, the European Union, the largest domestic market in the developed world, with over 500 million citizens, is a product of Bretton Woods era. The NAFTA, or North American Free Trade Agreement. It came into effect on January 1 of 1994. Its purpose is to eliminate most of the US, Canada, and Mexico barriers to trade and investment. Fourth, the Mercosur, or also known as Southern Common Market, is a goal of making a common market in South America. The Treaty of Asuncion in 1991 laid its foundations. And last but not the least, the Organization of Petroleum Exporting Countries. It was formed in 1960s and included the major oil exporters, namely Iran, Iraq, Kuwait, Saudi Arabia, and Venezuela. Now it has 11 members including Indonesia, Algeria, Libya, Nigeria, Qatar, and the United Arab Emirates.
Wow, you actually finished the show! Mr. Ryder, I wonder where did you learn that information that you have?
Well, I learned it from discussions way back in college.
Wonderful! Well, if there's nothing left to say, perhaps that concludes our episode.
Yes, partner. It was a fruitful episode full of insights and surprises. We would like to thank the guests for this episode, Ashley from TCU, Mr. James, and Professor Carl. Of course, let's not forget the insightful delivery rider. May we know your name, sir?
I am Professor Beltran.